little different. It's not what you're thinking. You got to know Chicago. You got to know the stepping community to understand that. But it was apparent that the people didn't understand that, and just didn't realize the people that you talking about, them old schoolers, baby, listen, them West Siders, listen, they have something for you. Hello. They will have something for you. But welcome in. Thank you so much for liking the live. All right, tubers, we on. So I need you all to behave because I do have some regulars on the tube who come in and they actually want to listen, but then I got some that be getting reckless over there. But we're gonna, send out some good vibes and some good energy and make sure that everybody moving in the same direction. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's what we doing. That's what we doing. So welcome into the self-care suite. I am your hostess, Coach Robin Renee, and this is where we come to kick off our shoes, relax our feet, and discuss the many ways to wellness. In here, we exchange useful, sustainable, low cost, or no cost self care strategies because our financial challenges should not stop us from investing in our wellness every single day. It should be something that we can do for our wellness, for our self care every single day. And it don't always have to cost a lot. So that's why we come here to exchange the ideas. I am a Pilates teacher, so I be teaching a lot, but I don't come here in that capacity. I come in the capacity to share. I share my strategies, but I also encourage you all to share your strategies because some things may work for some people and they may not work for other people, or, it can be some new stuff that everybody can try, We want to increase the tools that we have in our self-care arsenal, self-care treasure chest, whatever you call it, your self-care box, your toolbox, your backpack, your tote bag, your Birkin, whatever. Okay, might be some stuff moving back there behind me. I gotta keep my head on a swivel. Y'all let me know if something running up behind me. Let me know. I just heard something moving. It could have just been the trees. It could have been the trees moving. It could have been the trees, but I still keep my head on the swivel no matter where I am. I'm just saying. You keep your head on a swivel so you can be aware of your surroundings. But yeah, let us know. Let us know where you're coming in from. I am in America. Let me blink. Y'all come help us. Let me blink, let me blink, let me blink. I'm over here in America, trying to make it do what it do. We got to ride this here thing out. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, but today, we making it. We making it. I'll just say that. Specifically, I'm in the Midwest, and even more specifically, I'm in Illinois. A little bit more specific is on the outskirts of Chicago. That's about all you need to know. That's about all you need to know. Hi, so we got Mark. Wait a minute. See, I got to put my readers on. See these eyes, baby. They don't always see everything. So DC. Oh, hey, DC superhero. And then we have Mark. Hey, welcome in. Welcome in. And Sister Hong, so you're chiming in from China. What's up, China? Y'all come help us. Y'all come help. All right, talkers, we got a tour over here from China. Hey, Vanessa, we got the UK in the building. We got the UK in the building. I am well, sweetie. How are you? I haven't seen you chiming in for a while. So it's like, what is it, like 5 p.m.? No, like 9. Is it 9 p.m. where you are, Vanessa? Let me know. I know it's a little bit later. Hey, beautiful one. Thank you for joining. Shay MC, welcome in, welcome in. All right. China, I think it's kind of late for you too. What time is it in China? Hey, beautiful one. After 9 p.m. Okay, see, I'm getting better. Yeah, China, I think y'all 13 hours. Oh, it's morning. Yeah, it's morning. China, it's early in the morning for you. Let me know. What's up, Pawpaw's ice cream truck? Hey, toot beep beep. Let us know where you are chiming in from. Again, so we got the UK on the talk. We got China on the tube. Who else we got over here on the tube? We got Chicago all the time. Straight up from the Chi. Representing. So we just gonna get this party started. We're here to talk about our self-care, or the many ways to self-care. And it's not to down anybody. We international, baby, straight global. Hey, Glamalicious, what's up? So it's not to, what's up, Chi Time? Wait a minute, that's my cousin. I think that's my cousin. Beautiful one. I think that's my cousin. India. What time is it in India? So we got the UK on the top. We got China and India on the two. What time is it in India? Y'all welcome in. We global, baby. We taking this thing global. Worldwide, worldwide. Ooh, I almost kicked y'all over. Worldwide, worldwide. Yeah, I think beautiful one might be, that might be my cousin. What's up, Lisa? Oh, Lisa. Hey, Lisa. Well, Lisa might say she from Belize, but yeah. But go ahead. Put in where you from, Lisa. Put in where you from. Put in where you from. Put in where you from. I'm in the Midwest. I'm in America. That's why I'm over here blinking. Y'all come help us. China, come help us. China, come help us. Yeah, 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 yeah. So North Carolina, Wendy, hey, beautiful. Oh my God, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. So this is what we're talking about. So we're talking about the many ways to self-care. Your self-care can be anything that you want it to be. So we just like to check in, just to check in to see what you did last week or what you got planned next week or what you did today. Your self-care can be anything from took a nap. I'm from Chicago. I was born and raised in Chicago. But right now, I'm from the world. I'm worldwide. But it can be anywhere from you took a nap, a longer nap. Oh, let me say something about naps. Y'all ever took one of them naps? I did this the other day. It was kind of funny, though. But then it wasn't funny because I was in a panic. Y'all ever took them naps and when the when the sun is starting to change and the days are starting to match up in time, the morning and the evening, and it'd be like 7 o'clock. So your self-care is TikTok and naps and Netflix. Okay, so let me tell you about this nap I had, Wendy, the other day. So today's Sunday. This was Friday. Yeah, this was Friday because I had a meeting at 8 o'clock. I woke up and the sun was golden. So I jumped up because I thought it was 8 o'clock for my meeting, which was Friday. It was Thursday evening, but my meeting was Friday morning. And I jumped up. I'm grabbing stuff. Grabbing stuff, trying to see, I was supposed to be, in this meeting, but it was still Thursday. It wasn't Friday morning. Y'all ever had a nap that was that good? I'm just saying that was what the point was. When the naps be so good that you lay down, you wake up 30, 40 minutes later, because it wasn't even a whole hour. But I saw that 8, and I was like, oh my God. And I thought it was the whole next day, but it was Thursday evening. So yeah, that's a good nap. That's a good nap. So it can be, so Wendy said TikTok, naps, and Netflix. So it can be eating well. I took a nap yesterday while I was raining. Ooh, yeah. Those are good ones too. Those are good ones too. But it can be so the naps where you wake up and you can't remember your name. Now that's some sleeping. Vanessa, girl, that's some sleeping. She said, so we got a talker that said you take them naps, it's so good you wake up, you don't even know your own name. Listen, them some good naps. Them some good naps. So that's a form of self-care. I mean, taking a long bath, taking a nice walk. It doesn't even have to be a long walk. It can be a short walk. Like today, did y'all notice I'm not in my hammock? I'm not leaning down. So I'm in the park. So I decided to come over to the park, hang out in the park for a few. So I'm like, let me bring my tripods over here and go live. It's a lady down on the bench reading, and then it's a couple that's walking their dog around here. So it said something 15 years from now. Hey Terrence, how are you? So that could be your self-care or trying something new. So it used to be going for walks, but you missed a girl trek. Yeah, I do too. Yes, and think it's the next day. That's what I thought, Glamalicious. I thought it was the next day. I'm telling you, I was trying to get ready for my meeting, and I'm like, okay, I got on these pajama bottoms. I was looking for, oh my God. I was looking for a jacket. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get in front of the camera, child. I was 12 hours early. I was a whole 12 hours early for the meeting. So that was a good thing. So it could be, what else? So we got reading. And for some people, so I'm not going to say that like getting your nails done and your hair done. I hear people say that that's not really self-care, but for some people who don't do that, it is. That is a form of self-care. So I'm not going to say that that's not a form of self-care, because that could actually be a form of self-care for you. Getting what's the new thing that people are doing? Well, I don't know if it's new, but it's popular. Let me take that back. It may not be new. Those scalp treatments, and they're going and getting these scalp treatments. So meditation is a big one. Yes. So meditation is actually a good one. And, some people get thrown off by the word meditation and thinking that it has to be something so like metaphysical or so spiritual. Meditation is just slowing your mind down to focus on one thing, right? To be mindful of one thing. That one thing could be clearing your mind. That one thing could be rest. And rest and sleep are not always the same thing. Clock that. They say clock that. Rest and sleep are not always the same thing. So now what I'm doing, I'm working on increasing my rest time, because my sleep time is pretty solid right now. I mean, maybe eventually, that will increase, but I just like naturally wake up after, like, I mean, 5 hours is good for me. I mean, I can do 4. I don't necessarily, try to do that, but if I happen to wake up. So this is what I do. When I lay down and I'm laying down to rest, I allow my body to naturally wake up. So I'm not being awakened by an alarm clock where I'm just thrown into this frenzy. I'm not being thrown to so you do guided meditation, but also meditate when you washing the dishes. Exactly. So you can zone out. Exactly. So I'm going to work on like extending my rest time. Now, being in a bed for like 8 to 10 hours, that's a lot for me. That is, it's a like on my body, because I'm just used to, just kind of at least moving around. I don't have to be up and doing no hardcore stuff, but I like movement. I don't like being sedentary for too long. So I'm working on being intentional about just resting. Now, the way I was raised, so this is something that comes, hey, Marta, hey, how are you? This is how I was raised. So you know how when you were raised a certain way, and there are some things that, I mean, it's just ingrained in you. Like the way my mother was, like when you wake up, you get up. Like that was her thing. Like you wake up, you get up. So we used to be in the bed like this, but like on Saturday morning, like don't even crack your eyeball because you're gonna get up. And even if it was a day where you can stay in your pajamas all day, you still get up, you still make up your bed, you still wash up, and you change pajamas. Like you can stay in your pajamas, but you're not gonna be in the ones that you were in the bed all night long. So I'm hoping that that's making sense. So that's just how I was raised. Like when you wake up, you get up. Like there's always something to do. She would say, up and at 'em, up and at 'em, up and at 'em. And it took me a while, because I was a little kid, hearing that at first. I would say, where is Adam? Like, why we got to keep going to Adam? But I didn't understand until I got older. She was up and at them, like up and at 'em, up and at 'em. Like, why we got to be, who is Adam? And why we always got to go get Adam? But yeah. So for now, that's a part of what I'm doing. So it's the whole sleep hygiene routine, where I want to be a little bit more intentional. So I'm calling these like soft awakenings. You laughing, but it's true. It's true. I'm telling you, that's what, like, why we gotta go get Adam every day? Like, up and at, like, why I'm going to get Adam? But yeah, it was up and at them. She just, put it all together. So I'm calling them soft awakenings. So I started this last year, legs up the wall. So if any of my yogis are out here, I started practicing that. And I wish y'all would have told me a long time ago. I didn't even know to ask this question. But if you don't know what legs up the wall are, Google it, or TikTok. You can TikTok it or you look it up, and it's an inversion. It's a form of inversion therapy, but it's the lower half. So your legs are just up the wall. Like, so I scoot all the way up to the wall, and then my legs are up on the wall. So it just helps the blood to flow back, towards your heart. So I started doing that last year. And one of my friends who's actually a nurse, shout out to Kathy, one of my friends who's actually a nurse, used to do inversion. Like y'all remember the lounger? What was the name of it? The Ab Lounger. Yeah, it was called the Ab Lounger. That blue thing, the Ab Lounger. So she actually got one of mine, because I had two, and she was using it as an inversion table. I was younger. I wasn't paying attention to it, but she would do it, use it for a full inversion. But I also have I haven't been on it in a couple of years, the Feet Up trainer. So I'm going to start going back into that. So I've been doing the legs up since last year, and I feel that it makes a difference, and it's just, like I said, you do it. I don't do it more than 20 minutes. So I'll do 20 minutes with the legs up the wall, and I listen to, at first now, it was Andre 3000. If you don't have that New Blue Sun, I'm just saying, it was the Andre 3000. But now I'm listening to D. Thomas, he's on both. He's on the talk and he's on the tube. Therapeutic Sounds by D. Thomas. His name is Demetrius Thomas. He's out of Detroit. He plays the steel tongue drums, because he has more than one. Listen, you talking about mesmerizing. And how I found him, scrolling on the talk. And he was at the East Market in Detroit. And he was playing outside the East Market. Now, I was supposed to be doing something, but I ended up being on his live for like 2 hours. 2 hours listening to this man play these steel tongue drums. And so he does have a, I got to say the word backwards. Like the playlist app. The cloud sound. Right. So he has that, and you can actually, he accepts, contributions, for his gift, and you can get the link, Yeah, but I can't say that, on there. If I say it on there, they're going to get me. So I got to say cloud sound. But yeah, that's what it is, Vanessa. So I have to revert. It just be so many rules. We're going to talk about that too, because I got to kind of move on too. It just be so many rules of what you can say, what you're not supposed to say, and what you got to do, and, tap on your third toe and all that. But anyway, so we got to, that's why I had to think about what it was, and we got to reverse it. So I listened to that, but his name is Demetrius Thomas, Demetrius, Demetrius Thomas. Follow him, connect with him. The steel tongue drums, and this man is so gifted. So now I listen to that when I'm doing, legs up the wall. So like I said, I'm calling them soft awakenings. I do some stretching. While I'm, still in the bed, and, I'm up to like 30 minutes. I'm up to like 30 minutes now, but it's a struggle. Like it really is. I'm not gonna say it's a struggle. It's a challenge, because I can do it. If I put my mind to it. But it is a challenge because it feels weird, because I'm so used to waking up and getting up. So now I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna go for these soft awakenings, but at least that gives me, the 20 minutes with the legs up the wall, and then 10 minutes with some kind of stretching. And I'm liking it. Like, I'm actually liking it. So it's not a bad thing. So that's what I'm doing, now for my self-care. Now, what I do, I don't make traditional New Year's resolutions, right, at January 1st. So my new year for me is my birthday, which is April 14th. It's the spring. And we can talk about that too. Yeah, we can talk about that too. It's the spring, it's when I feel the most alive, even though that was, when I was born. But I don't know. I'm just guessing, even if I wasn't born in the spring. And most people do feel better in the spring. You feel like you can do more, when the temperatures start to change, from the winter. But let me just finish this first, and then I'll go back to that. So I use my birthday. So my birthday is when I make those commitments to do some things, or to incorporate new practices into my wellness arsenal, right? Into my wellness safe, or my wellness safety deposit box, or my wellness vault. I do it annually. So I steer away from just jumping on stuff just because it's there. Even if I heard about it, I'll learn about it, before I decide I'm going to do it. And then I do the whole hokey pokey. I start in October, because I like to be successful about stuff. I'm just saying, I like to be successful when I decide I'm going to do something. So I'll start in October and say, okay, let me see if this is going to work. So I'll do a couple, that's 6 months before my birthday. So I'll test it out. That's when I'm doing the hokey pokey. So I haven't made that full commitment. But by the time April comes around, I can tell if this is something that's going to remain a part of what I'm going to do in terms of my self-care. So I'm not going to overwhelm myself. I don't encourage anybody to overwhelm themselves, but I do know in January, people get overwhelmed with so many things. I'm going to lose 55 pounds. I'm going to, start my podcast. I'm going to write my book. Like, it'd be like a whole bunch of stuff going on in January. But this is what I want to say about those winter months. If you understand anything about the human body, or even if you don't understand a lot about it, or a lot about our connection to the earth, call it what you want. It's true. It's scientific. Oh, but I got to say, for entertainment purposes only. But anyway, we are connected. We are intimately connected to the earth. And there are different things that happen. Listen, I know y'all done heard this, especially if you from down south. When the full moon is out, what the people from down south say? When the full moon is out. If y'all know somebody from down south, or if you from down south, put it in there. Type it in there. What do people say down south if it's a full moon out? Y'all tell me what they say. If your people from down south. The universe, yep, Mac Man, I like that. But I'm saying specifically, if you got some people from the country, when the full moon is out, what's about to happen? Who about to come out? Who coming out? I'm just saying. Who coming out? I'm more chill than your auntie. The winter is time to the rest and recover. The spring, yep. The spring is the time of awakening. Yep, wolves is one. But I'm talking about human beings. They be saying them fools gonna be out there tonight. Be careful. People from down south don't like you going outside when the moon out. It's like, get back in this house. Especially when it's a full moon. Them fools gonna be out there. Yeah, but you're right. Yep, you're right, big Grizz. You're right. And so, but even with the animals are, connected to earth as well. So when we understand our circadian rhythm, and then we also understand the seasons, our bodies go through adaptations, or adaptive stages along with the seasons, for the most part. And I have to say this because we do have some people who do this, and if you in Chicago, you know what I'm talking about. For the most part, people not outside in the wintertime with shorts on. I'm just saying for the most part. For the most part. But we got a couple of people that may do that. But for the most part, in the winter, you're gonna put on more layers. You know, you're going to adapt to what's going on in the winter. There are certain things that you have to do for your self-care. Some people like to eat heavier. So some people eat more stews and they eat more soups and they have more sauces and they eat more breads, like that kind of stuff, because you want something to what? You want something to stick to your ribs. You know, you want something to give you a little bit more sustenance. Nature and animals are coded perfect. Yes. And you know what, MacMan? So MacMan, okay, on the tube. So MacMan says that nature and animals are coded perfect and it's beautiful. But you know the annoying part about that is when man get to start messing with nature. That's what I'm gonna say about that. When man get to start messing with nature, you know, and messing with the animals, I mean, it's bad enough that we built, you know, these homes and these highways, you know, through their natural habitat. But when you get to be, I'm just saying, you be out there playing with them, they don't be playing. Them animals don't play all the time. I'm just saying, they tolerate you. They tolerate you, but there's a certain point where you just need to leave the animals alone. So I'm also an outdoors person, right? I'm a wilderness first responder. I'm an advanced outdoor trip leader, you know, hike leader, all those things. And so we were learning about different protocol, you know, with different animals. You have to understand, so animals don't eat or take more than they need, and the food chain. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. So MacMan says that animals don't eat or take more than they need, and the food chain is perfect. Exactly. We the ones with the deep freezer. We got to have a deep freezer. We got to have a pantry. We got to stock up, you know, on all of this stuff. And then that's where the gluttony comes in. But that, you know, we ain't gonna go there. We listen and we don't judge. You know, we're not judging. But when we were learning about, you know, animals, like when I was going through my training and stuff, and just learning how, so there's the thing, nature and animals take care of itself. And that's what I'm going to, MacMan. What we were learning with the animals was that animals know how to look after their young. They know how to look after themselves. They know how to protect themselves. What begins to happen when we get out there, one, they don't even like us like that. Like, they're not trying to play with us. But, you know, human beings always trying to be curious, pulling out a phone or a camera, be trying to take the pictures. Leave them alone. Leave them alone. So they smell us and they hear us. So leave them alone. So we have a saying, you know, in the outdoors, leave the wild to the wild. Stop trying to be feeding them, talking about, come over here. You know, here little squirrely squirrel, here little raccoon. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because what starts to happen, and especially in some places, I mean, which this is the sad part about it. In some places, once the wildlife has become humanized, and I'm using that in air quotes, once the wildlife has become humanized, they either have to remove them from there and put them in some form of a captive space, you know. They have to remove them from there, or they gotta get rid of them. Because what begins to happen is they get so used to being around humans, and you have some humans who don't respect or either don't understand to leave the wild to the wild. So I'm going to say some don't understand, some just wild, they just don't, you know, they don't respect it. But when you start to do that, what happens is when the humans who do know what to do and respect the outdoors and respect nature, when they come, there's a chance that the animals are coming out around them. Yep, comfortability and destroy. Yeah, you got that right. You got that right. The animals will still come out, and then that's when it gets real murky. It gets real murky because the animals know that these are humans, and humans come with this different kind of food, and you are human and you should have something. If you ain't got nothing, then they're gonna put them paws on you. I'm just saying. So that's when things get a little wild, you know. It's like you come in, you know, and you respect it and you know what you should be doing, but somebody else has come along beforehand. So just, if you're going in the outdoors, or if you're going out to the outdoors, leave the wild to the wild. They know what they're doing. They got this. They got this. They are all out there in the back. They forget how to hunt. Yep. Look at listen. Now them pigeons in Chicago, I don't know about nowhere else. Them pigeons in Chicago, they just, listen. They should just start building houses. I'm just saying. They just walk around. Ain't no scaring them. They not running. You better run. Yep. They forget because they have become dependent on the humans who keep coming there and leaving stuff. And, you know, you have people who come out, you know, in the outdoors and they eat and then they throw stuff on the trail and, you know, all those things. And just don't do that. Just be respectful. Be respectful of nature and let nature take care of itself. So and so as far as us, so when we're talking about our circadian rhythm and how we are connected with the earth, right? And how different seasons we require different things. This is what I want to say about the winter. The winter season, well, fall is when you're preparing for winter, right? So that's when and if you look at some old movies or just look up some old footage, old documentaries, that's when people were preparing to be in for the winter. Like you get your stuff in the summer when the harvest is, plentiful, and whether it's canning or freeze drying. They call it freeze dry, dehydrating, the fruits or the vegetables. They did all of that to prepare for the winter because the work wasn't going to be as abundant in the winter. But you're supposed to be sitting down somewhere. The nights are so long in the winter. What you doing out there? Why are you outside? Why are you outside in the wintertime? I'm just saying, why are you outside in the wintertime? So you should be resting in the winter. When the earth decides, or whatever side of the globe that you're on, when that is happening, when that season is happening, it's because that side of the globe is being prepared for the spring. So it's not going to happen all around the earth at the same time. It's happening at different times, but there's a reason. There's a reason for the season. There's a reason for the season, because that winter season, that cold season, you should be resting. You should be somewhere, not necessarily sleeping, but think about bears. Bears they feel, and they go ahead and go on about their business, and they gonna be down there for how many months, whatever burrow or whatever cave that they have decided to go in, they good. They are insulated. They have their own fat that they're insulated with. Before houses we survive. Yep, humans adapted. Yep. And so now we've done so much, with these houses and trying to improvise things, and now we got to come up with the different lights to make us think that it's daylight, like people who work the night shift, like those kind of things. We're getting ourselves so thrown off. We're getting our bodies thrown off from what we should naturally do. And then that's why you have a lot of people who are sleep deprived, or a lot of people. And then we got social media, and there's somebody up somewhere in the world, and we get up and we're scrolling, and we have the blue lights, that are going, in our eyes. Even if you're in a dark room, you're still looking, but then your brain is still picking up those waves. And so what we have to be mindful of, especially in the winter, and this is what I want to say about New Year's resolutions. Thank you all so much. Let me say this. Thank you all so much for interacting, for liking the live, and for just coming in and for listening. And just share. You can always put in there what your self-care strategy is, for this week, or if it's just your go-to. But so in the winter, when you set those New Year's resolutions in the beginning, when you set the New Year's resolutions at the beginning, hey, there's a K-pop cat. Hey, welcome. When you set the New Year's resolutions at the beginning of the calendar year, we can talk about that too, because our calendar jacked up too. But anyway, you're pushing your body or your mind into a state of activity. Because most people, I'm not saying not all, because some people probably do have rest on their New Year's resolution. But for the most part, people do these things, or they make these resolutions for activity, for high activity. If you think about how our bodies are connected to the earth and how we were operating before all this modern technology, we operated with the sun. When the sun came up, we got up. When the sun went down, we went down. And so you're talking about doing this where you have the majority of your day, or the majority of those hours, are in the dark. And so now you have to try and figure that out. It's just, I'm going to push myself, and the struggle is real. And, I'm going to be, okay, then he got a big dog. All right. Okay. I was just saying. Okay, I can't say it on here, but me and my little Nina be out here. I'm just saying, just saying. So you pet owners, just be careful. Be careful when you walking. Okay, so February and March is known as depression months because yep, that's when most people break their resolutions. Yeah. So let me get back to this. So I just got a little, I got to keep my head on the swivel. But he got a big dog, like a real big dog, real big dog. Yeah. But anyway, yes. People can break their resolutions that early in the year because you are pushing yourself to a space, or you're pushing yourself to be mentally challenged. I'm going to say unnecessarily. This is just my opinion, but unnecessarily, because there are things you can do in that preparation season, in that quarter. If you want to take the first quarter of the year, or you can split it, just take December up through March. You can take those 3 months and use that as your preparation season, so that when the weather changes, when things start to bud and the earth starts to wake up again and you naturally get this extra energy, then you're ready for that. But if you're trying to fight through the winter, a lot of people don't realize that's why you struggle so hard with trying to maintain a New Year's resolution. January wasn't meant for that. I'm just saying. For entertainment purposes only, I got to say that part too, because they be flagging me. They be hating. Over here, the talk, they be cutting me off. They be like mute my comments when I comment on stuff. So I gotta say for entertainment purposes only. But look it up. Look up your circadian rhythm. Look at traditional excuse me, sleep wake cycles, work cycles. They were not intended to happen in the middle of the winter, the dead of winter. Ooh, I can't say that word. The middle of winter. I say I gotta. Oh Lord, I need a censor. I need a social media censor. Like an interpreter, I need a social media censor. But in the DEAD of winter. So just think about all of the things that you do, or all the things that you don't want to do in the, hey, creative mind, how are you? That you don't want to do in those months. You're not undisciplined. You're not lazy. You're not a loser. You are a human being. You are a human being, and you're fighting against what your body naturally does when you're trying to make a New Year's resolution in January. Now, if you journal, that could be a good time to journal. If you keep things on a calendar, it could be a good time to actually go and put those things, to plug those things in, and maybe just focus on something like your food. Eat the healthiest of the heartiest, because it's just natural. It's natural to want a heartier meal in the wintertime. You need that insulation. You need that long burning fuel for the winters to get through. Think about if your body is going to shut down and your metabolism is shutting down so that you can rest when those dark hours come. You need something to be able to sustain you. So think about the bear. Now the bear gonna go get in the cave, go down in the hole or whatever they doing so they can go and rest. And they rest and they ain't coming back. They're not coming back to the spring, right? They like, okay, I'm gonna let y'all have that because y'all ain't figured it out yet. Evolution has come this far, and the bear's like, look, I'm gonna let you humans go out there and figure that out, because that ain't my ministry. My ministry is to get this food, put it in my insulation. You got your natural insulation, right? And go ahead and go on and rest somewhere. So think about that when you think about January, setting those New Year's resolutions in January. I'm not telling you not to do it, but just in case you have been struggling for a long time and you just trying to figure out like, dang, like, why is it so hard? Why is it so hard? Or you get into it, so being cold has healing. Yeah, it does. You know why? Because it forces you to sit still. So MacMan, come on, MacMan, come on with the science, come on. So MacMan says that being cold has healing properties too. Yes, rest is a major part of that, because there are a lot of things that you're less likely to do, but also when your body temperature is lower, your body goes into a different place when it comes to healing. Think about if you too hot, think about a fever, right? So if you had a fever, there are things that your body will probably not be doing because your body is fighting against whatever it is that's going on. So if you think about that when you're too hot. So you're right. Yep. So being cold has healing properties too. So just think about that when it comes to, so we're about to go into our fall season, and just think about that. So if you are a person who has had these struggles for years, like no matter what, like, oh man, it come January again, and you got to keep putting the same thing on your list, and you keep putting the same thing on your list, I'm just saying, that's a self-care strategy I've been using for, oh wow, I don't even know how many years. Ice bath. Okay, creative mind. Let me tell you about the ice bath. But yeah, okay, so I don't know how many years I've been doing it, but my birthday is my new year. So creative mind is over here saying, asking about the ice bath. Yes, it shocks, can I use air quotes, but it shocks your body to wake up, like your metabolism, your adrenaline. Yeah, so it has its pluses. Athletes use it for pain recovery, muscle fatigue. Yes. But I did my first ice bath. Listen, I did my first ice bath this year. So I went to Belize in December 2024. And oh God, I think I'm from Belize, but that's another thing. That's in my Delulu. I think like my people were like really from Belize. I think they dropped us off and they brought some of us over here. But anyway, so I went to Belize in December. And so MacMan says you get fevers from going from hot to cold, from air conditioning, but hot to cold is enough to crack metal. It is. Break glass and crack metal. Okay, Belize, yes. Okay, so MacMan says I get fevers from going from hot to cold, from an air conditioning, and then hot to cold is enough to crack metal. It certainly is. It certainly is. Yes, you can crack your baking dish too in the oven when you take it out, and the water too cold. Anyway, ask me how I know that. But anyway. So my ice bath experience. So I went to Belize in December, and met. There's a naturopath. So one of the places that we go, if you go to Belize, I'm just gonna highly recommend Harborview Retreat, Harborview Boutique Hotel and Retreat Wellness Center. Whew, that's a lot. Harborview Boutique Hotel Retreat and Wellness Center. So, went there, met the naturopath there. His name is Dr. Kumar, the coolest Indian guy. So I met him in December, and he was just talking to me about different things, with wellness and different modalities, that we can do outside of this traditional Western medicine. And so when he was asking me things that I had tried, because they have certain services there, and I was like, well, I've never had acupuncture and I've never done the ice bath. So he was like, when you come back, I want you to do that. That's what he told me in December. When you come back. So shout out to Harborview. Yes. You still not doing that ice bath? Listen, I'm gonna tell you about my experience. It's on my tube. So when I came back in May, so I hosted a retreat there in May, and I did it. So you go from the infrared heat, and then you get into the ice bath. So I was cool or hot, but I'm just saying. But I was hot in the infrared sauna. I mean, hot like feeling good, because I can do that. Like, the heat didn't bother me. But child, I just thought, because in my head, you know how you make up something in your mind? You're like, I'm going to go do this. So in my mind, I was going to go in there and just dip all the way down. Y'all, so my talkers, so you so proud of me. I'm glad I did it too. Thank you so much. So I thought, so it's on my talk is just a preview, but I'm going to tell y'all what happened. But my tube is, you can see the whole thing. So I thought I was just going to go and dip like my whole head and go. You know how you jump off the deep end in the pool? You just go in and shake it off, because you just get it out, get it out the way. Baby, listen, I think the water came. No, I think it probably came to my stomach. I don't even think it came up here. But my whole goal was to go and stick everything down. Listen, that hit my body. Listen, I was like, Jesus. I thought Jesus was coming to get me. It took me a while, but I did it. I got down in there. And so I just stopped counting. So shout out to Claudia. That was my therapist. That was my wellness therapist, who set up my hot and cold therapy. I stopped counting after the 4th bag of ice, because I was like, if she come out of here with one more bag of ice, I stopped counting. So I went into my breathing. I was doing my Pilates breathing. You laughing, creative mind, but I'm telling you, this is what was happening. So I just started breathing. I'm doing my inhales through both nostrils. I'm doing my exhales through pursed lips. I started doing my counting, whatever little meditative strategy that I had to, because that's what I'm saying. When bag number 4, I was like, okay, first of all, where she keep getting all this ice from? And you can hear the ice like ching 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 ching. Like, where she keep getting all this ice? Where did the ice come from? First of all, but I made it, and I just breathed. I just kept breathing, and I kept breathing, and I got down in there, and I think it was 10 minutes. Was it 10? I don't know. They got the standard on there, whatever the time was. I made it. I didn't ask to come out or anything. I stayed in there. I just made my way down in there, and I breathed through it. And yeah, by the time it was over, I was so hot. I melted the ice except for one little chunk. So on the tube, you can see it. I'm holding up the chunk that was left at the end of my service. But yeah, I made it. I made it through. Would I recommend it? I would say yeah. I mean, and I did. I felt really good afterwards. But I'm telling you that in my mind, I knew I was gonna go in there and just dive on down in there and pop back up. It didn't work out. That didn't work out like that. But I made it. Through the cold therapy. So, and then with the acupuncture. So I did the acupuncture. So it's Vanessa. So you managed 8 athletes' career avoiding ice bath. Okay, we have speaking in tongue. Listen, I'm telling you, I thought Jesus. Look, Jesus. Listen. Yes. Now, as an athlete, I never did one. As an athlete, I never did one. I never did an ice bath. But I decided to go on over to Belize, and the man that told me to do it, and I trusted him, so I went ahead and I did it. So, okay. All right, good. So you refused to do them? Yeah, I didn't. We didn't even get offered that option. Maybe that come from being from the hood. I don't know. Maybe that come from being a hood athlete. I don't know. Your spirit would have left my body. You need to see it then. So you need to go on my talk so you can, on my tube. Now on my talk, it's just a preview of me trying to, because in my mind, my whole head was going under. Like my whole, I think it came like to my belly. My shoulders, it didn't make it down there the first time. But I eased my way down in there. I really did. I eased my way, down in there. So, okay, wait. This is who coming in? Hey, Jessica. Oh, wait. Hey, Jessica. Welcome in. This is the Self-Care Suite. So for all my people who have just joined, we meet here on Sundays at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. I am Coach Robin Renee. I'm your hostess in the Self-Care Suite. This is where we come to kick off our shoes. I got mine on today, but normally I'll be in my hammock. But we kick off our shoes, relax our feet. We exchange useful, sustainable, low cost or no cost self-care strategies, because our financial challenges should not stop us from investing in our wellness account every day. There should be something we can do for our self-care every day. So that's why we come in here to exchange ideas, self-care strategies. So this is what we're doing. So I'm going to shout out to Dr. Kumar. He's going to make sure that you try new self-care strategies. Yes. So my acupuncture, Dr. Kumar is going to make sure you try different self-care strategies. And he's just like the coolest. I'm telling you, if you go to Belize, that's my recommendation, hands down. Go to Harborview and see Dr. Kumar. Or, because he also works on Key Calker, so you may be able to just set up a separate appointment with him at Key Calker on that island. I don't know if he goes to San Pedro. San Pedro might be a little turned up for him, though. I don't know. It may be. So the natural way, yeah, definitely the natural way. So now with the acupuncture, I remember I felt like a few pricks because I was having some stuff going on with my ankle, right? So I was like Cletus. I was limping, when I got there. And I didn't go and see a Western doctor before I left the U.S. because I said, let me go see if this little Indian doctor know what he's talking about. Let me go over there to Belize. So I went over there intentionally to see. Let's see what's going to happen when I get over there. So I felt a few pricks on my ankle when he started. I remember feeling something like in the bend of my elbow. I don't know if I remember another one. I remember the bend of my elbow, and I remember my ankle. So I don't know how many he had. I don't know how many needles that he used. But so afterwards, after it was over, I fell asleep. Yeah, with the needles being pricked, I fell asleep. And so he tells me to get up, and he's like, go walk. So, hey, Lotus Flower, how are you? So he says, go walk. So I'm in the room, and I'm like limping. And he's like, hello. So he said, is your ankle hurting? I was like, I don't know. I said, I don't know. He said, is it hurting or no? So you had a very relaxing massage and Belize. Yep, also enjoyed Dr. Kumar's you did acupressure. Yeah, I did acupuncture. So I'm limping, and so he's asking me, like, are you hurting? So because I was limping when I got there. So I'm thinking I'm supposed to be limping. And he was like, so why are you limping? I was like, I don't know. Like, so he's like, go walk. And he talking really fast. So he's like, go walk. So I'm walking. No. Head up. You laughing because I'm talking like he was like, no, put your head up, chest up, walk, just walk. Just, can you walk? So then he moves the tables out the way. Walk. He tells me, go walk. So I'm walking. Then I start walking slow. He said, is that how you walk? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it was so weird because for one, I did have the pain, but I didn't feel anything. I'm like, okay, like it felt weird to me because I didn't feel anything. Like after he took the needles out, like I didn't feel anything. So you love you some acupuncture. Oh, so you'll do the acupuncture. Okay, so two birds, we got a talker. Vanessa says, I love me some acupuncture. Would you try the one where there's the electric charge in the needle? I don't know. Maybe. I had a good experience with that one. So I didn't know they had one with electric charge. That was my first time. I didn't know they had one with electric charge. But it's amazing. Okay. But wait. Is it controlled or is it just one surge? Like they give you a little bit at a time? So you said you have been practicing your grounding techniques. Yes, that's another one. Walking barefoot in the grass. So we're going to talk about grounding. So thank you so much, beautiful one. So Vanessa, let me know. Is it like a surge or is it a little bit at a time? Each needle is separately controlled. Oh, my goodness. Oh, you got to really trust that therapist then. Because what if they get to, remixing? What if they get the remixing on you with them needles? like they're a DJ. Put the needle on the record. And then they shocking you all around. Oh, that's interesting. I'm going to look that one up. Thank you, Vanessa. I'm gonna look that one up. So yeah, so grounding. Grounding was something that I had already said in 2024 that I was going to start doing, but I had this thing in my mind to ground in public, and I know people do it. I shout out to you if you got that. If you on that level, shout out to you, because I do know grounding. That's a part of our connection, to the earth. Shout out to you. But I would be so distracted because other people's feet have been there, and then the animals been out there and the species and its carcasses and all kind of stuff. So in my head, it just wouldn't work out well for me. I know that psychologically it wouldn't work out well for me. So I got to do these different things to make sure that I can, just psychologically be in a good space where I can go in public and do it. So last year I said, I'm going to start grounding. And this was before I even met Dr. Kumar. So this is how I know this is one of those things like I like to call like divine alignment or divine connections, like those sorts of things. So I said last year, that's something because, each year I told you I'm looking for something to add to my arsenal, to my toolbox, to my treasure chest for self-care. So when we met Dr. Kumar, he was talking about doing the grounding, and I shared that with him, and he said, "Well, do it then. You're supposed to do it. How did I know? How did I know?" He's so cool. Dr. Kumar is so cool. He's like, "How did I know?" I said, "You didn't." And I shared that with him that I did say that I was going to start grounding. So I said I would start in my own backyard. So whatever, I know we got rabbits, that are out there. I've seen possums before. So whatever is out there, I mean, it's in my backyard, like literally in my backyard. So I wasn't like too apprehensive about that. So I said, okay, I would start the grounding this year. I said I was going to do it this summer. So after meeting him, seeing him, what's up, Soma Fix? How are you? So after having my services with him, then I said when I go home, I'm going to start doing the grounding. And I actually did feel what you talking about, Vanessa, the charge. I really did. I did it in the morning. I would do it like 4:30 or 5 in the morning. And I would actually just like, okay, so also the breathing techniques. Yes, the breathing techniques as well. So I would just water like the perimeter of my yard, so I would just have something to do while I'm out there. But he was recommending 20 minutes if you can do it, but definitely at least 10. So for me, I ended up doing like almost 30 minutes, like that first time. But I did feel the charge. Like I literally felt the charge. So I was like, I'm not tripping. Like, is this really, really for real? So I said, okay, let me give it a couple of days. Let me go back again. Because, your mind, all homey, your mind can play tricks on, So I'm like, let me go back out there and do this again. Then I went in the other direction, right? So at Harborview, where I'm talking about the retreat center that's in Belize, they have this maze where you can, do your grounding, and it goes like in this circle. So I was just kind of repeating that, in my yard. So I did it, and I had a pace to it. So I was actually like walking with it. Same thing. I felt the tingle. So I felt the charge. So I believed it. So I never, not that I doubted it, but I've actually tried it for myself. So that's one thing, if you want to use that, if you've never done it, if you have, share with us with the grounding. So Beautiful One said that she has been doing the grounding. Did you feel any tingling? Let me ask you that, Beautiful One. Did you feel anything? I did the first time I did it. And then when I went and waited a couple of days and went back out there, but now I'm okay with it. So because I know that it's a part of the process. So let us know, Beautiful One, if you felt anything. So sleeping in the hammock outside, listen. But I be in my hammock in Illinois. Yeah, so sleeping outside in the hammock. So the Beautiful One was at our retreat, our Pilates retreat in Belize. And so being in the hammock is a whole nother world. You didn't feel any tingling? Okay, yep, I did. So my hammock, so you all who have been on here with me before, I go live at the Self-Care Suite in my hammock. That's my Sunday afternoon. Thank you so much. Who's that? Blue Collar Scholar. Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So my Sundays, I spend in my hammocks. I mean, like literally, I'm chilling. That's why I take my naps and read and whatever else. Thank you so much for getting to heart me. Yeah, I do that. That's my Sundays. That's my Sundays. But yeah, sleeping in a hammock, if you have never slept in a hammock or just chilled in a hammock outside, so I'll share this with you. So this was our second night there. I think it was our second night there. You need a hammock? Yeah, you do. Hammocks are lifesavers. Hammocks are lifesavers. Oh, as a matter of fact, no. Depending on what color you want, I got one for you. Beautiful One. So if you want, it's blue. I do have one that you can have. Yep, I knew have one that you can have. If you okay with a blue. Hey, Takara's or Takana's? Ooh, come up. Takana's Kitchen. Hey, welcome in. Okay, yep, I got one for you. I got one for you. So I think it was our second night there. I'm out on the porch or the veranda. I'm out on the porch in the hammock. You got the nice breeze going, and I dozed off. It was like about 9 o'clock. I woke up. You're welcome. I woke up and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I felt like this, like sort of like a little spray bottle, just little, like little mist. It was storming. It was storming. I had fell asleep. I was knocked out. I know I got in there about 9, so I don't know exactly what time I went to sleep, but it was 2 o'clock. So you laughing? Yeah, she was there. So yeah, but it was like, I'm like, okay, I think I should probably go inside now. But that's the only thing that really made me go inside, because I didn't want to be out there and end up, being soaked by the time the sun rose. But them little nonchalant baddie, I think so. Hey, welcome in. But that was good. So that's another self-care strategy for you. Get you some sleep in a hammock. But I'm also an outdoors person too. So I'm a wilderness first responder. I'm an advanced outdoor trip leader. I'm a hike leader, all of the things. So sleeping in a tent outside is good for me too. I mean, sleeping outside under some dark skies, star-filled skies, nice breeze in front of a lake. That's my jam. That's something I can do. But not, that ain't for everybody. Some people want to go inside the cabin and be inside the bed, but I can sleep, in my tent. That's good sleeping to me too. Just leave my little flap open and make sure I got my, my screen, my screen is in, and I'll leave my little flap cracked so I can get, some wind in there. Make sure my rain flap is secure so I don't get, that, because condensation just comes at night, from the earth. That's another one of those things that the earth naturally does. You wake up in the morning and you see the dew on the ground, but yeah, condensation is going to come up, but you don't want that inside your tent. Trust and believe. You don't want that inside your tent, because then you can, get the moisture in, set up mold and all that. You don't want that. You don't want that in your tent, but that's, another story. So yeah, so 4 hour self-care. So what we got? Acupuncture, the ice bath, infrared sauna, sleeping in a hammock, naps. Hey, Jess Tasha Shop. Vanessa got the needles with the shock in them. Massages, naps. So somebody said nap. Wendy said naps, Netflix, and TikTok. That's your jam. If that's your self-care, always have something that you can go to. Meditation. Okay, yep. Meditation. Now let me share this with you. If you all don't know who Coach Monique Roberson is, walking. Yep, that's a good meditation. Coach Monique Roberson, her and her husband Mel, they're a team, and they're just so dynamic. But they just think of them as a super dynamic duo of businesses and self-care and all that. So music and dancing, yep, that's self-care. But it's Monique Roberson or Coach Mo. I took a meditation class with her probably we were still in the kind of like lockdown stages, so it had to be maybe 21 or 22. But we were outside. That's when they started letting us come back together. We were outside. And what she shared is something that I like to share with people who are new to meditation and, struggle with either doing it on your own or with. So, listen, hey, come on now, Tube. Tube is blocking y'all from something. Y'all probably over here clowning. But, so if you struggle with that, or if you just have difficulty clearing your mind, or allowing your mind not to be so overly active, the tool she gave us is to count from 100 backwards. But here are the rules of engagement. So this is your mission, should you choose to accept. You're counting silently, because that's a part of what's helping you to keep your mind focused on one thing, which are the numbers. And you're not skipping any numbers. So you can't say 100, 99, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. No, you have to say 100, 99, 98, 97, right? So you can't just leave that one single number. You have to, so you usually fall asleep. Yeah. So the very first time we're thinking like, we got this. Girl, what you talking about? It probably took me about 3 tries. I was like, I know how to count. Why I keep falling asleep? Because I kept falling asleep. But now I'm able to do it. I'm able to do it. And when I'm out of practice with it may take me a few tries to get back in it. But yeah, I can do it now. I've even gotten to the point, like when I've been out of practice and I get back to it, well, I can remember the number 17 and then don't remember. I'm like, oh, I'm down under 20 and I got to start over. Like the last number I remember is 17. I'm like, what number am I on? You know, oh, and it needs to, oh, wait. Here's the other part. It needs to have a rhythm. So whatever rhythm you start with, like establish a rhythm. So you can't be like, I was at 75. No, I was at 76. No, it has to have a rhythm. So that's a part of you tapping into that mindfulness. It's a part of you tapping into you being able to control your mind to a certain extent. You're controlling your mind to stay focused and to stay focused on one thing. And then eventually you'll be able to, well, you should be able to. I'm not going to say you should. Eventually you could be able to, because not everybody is into meditation. So speaking of tap the screen for coach. Yeah, thank you. Tap on the screen for coach. Thank you so much, Glamalicious. But then that's a practice that you can get into. And I'm glad you said something about tapping. So beautiful one, do you remember when we were in Taiwan and the guy was at the bus stop tapping? And I was like, oh my God, he's doing what the guy on the talk was doing. Beautiful one, where I think you were out there with us. So tapping is a form of, it's a therapy, it's a natural therapy to wake your body up. There was a guy in Taiwan at the bus stop doing the tap. I was like, because I've seen it on the talk. I haven't seen it on the tube, but I've seen it pop up. So you remember, he was just at the bus stop. It was like, and it wasn't no weirdness or nothing. Like people were just standing there and he was doing all of his tapping. And I was like, you're tapping. And he was like, I was surprised to see that because I had only seen it on the talk. I saw it on the talk and it was a natural therapy, which I believe, it's sort of like that vibration therapy. Glamalicious, you got the vibrating plate. Tell us about your vibration therapy. That's another form of self-care. So that's what that tapping is. That's what that tapping is, it's waking your body up, sending those signals to your body to say, okay, we need to wake up here. There's some things that we need to do, as far as your metabolism, your circulation, your adrenaline, all those things. So that's Glenna Blake. We got some good stuff today. We got some good strategies today for self-care. So Glamalicious, where are you? Okay. So you love it. You had, okay. So Tubers, we got a talker. So Glamalicious had knee replacement surgery and the vibration plate really helps. It really helps. So how long do you have to stay on it? Is there like a recommended amount of time that you're supposed to stay on it? This is good stuff, y'all. Real good stuff. So for 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes. Yeah, I've seen people. I've been tempted too, though. I've been like, I haven't put it in my cart though. My cart is probably like $1 million. I ain't buying nothing. I just be putting stuff in the cart. But I haven't dropped it in the cart yet. I've been looking though. Like, let me see. Should I be doing this? Because I got the percussion. Well, I gotta say device because you can't say the GUN word. But I got the smaller. I'm gonna say percussion massager too. I'll just say that. So I do have that, like a handheld one. Actually, it's more like a roller. It ain't the shape, the one with the barrel. It's more like a roller that has the percussion that you can put like for recovery on different muscles or different sections of muscles. I do have that. But the vibration plate, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it, get one and then, could they send me a sample? Here they go with this thing, y'all. Okay, they trying to cut me off. Trying to hold me down. Yes, because they don't sense activity over here. So if you could tap on the screen, they don't sense activity over here. But it's a lot going on. If you're new here, welcome to the Self-Care Suite. This is where we meet on Sundays, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. This is where we kick off our shoes, relax our feet, and discuss the many ways to wellness. We discuss or share self-care strategies that are practical, that are sustainable, that are low cost, that are no cost, so that we can increase our self-care accounts. Because financial challenges should not stop us from investing in our wellness every single day. There should be something that we can do for our self-care every single day, even if it's taking a nap. Sometimes, depending on what you got going on, like payday, I'm just saying, you get paid, like, you know what, let me just go take a nap. What did I work all them hours for? I got my last $2. I'm just saying. At least over here in America, you go to other places and our dollar, holds a lot of weight, and you be looking like, so why they charge us so much for that over there? Why they be doing us like that? But they do. They do that to us over here. But we're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. I'm enjoying this conversation, you all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your engagement. Thank you so much for the conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your strategies, because that's what we're doing here. That's what we're doing here. We are sharing those self-care strategies that can save us. Oh, the winter. Remember we talked about the winter. We talked about the winter and just seeing what happens. See what happens if you kind of alternate some things in the winter, and see if you were struggling, because some people just get to it and they set it in their mind and they're like, okay, I'm about to jump on this and this is what I'm doing and I'm gonna just move forward with my New Year's resolutions. But a lot of times that's what it is when the struggle hits, even though some people are very successful in it. So I'm not saying that you should not do it, but just be mindful that the winter is when your body naturally wants to slow down. So to rev it up, to do something, it may be forcing your body, unnecessarily, into a space where if you manned or manage what you ate, because, we got the whole 80-20 thing happening here. We eat so much. Just think about it. Just not saying gluttony, but we eat so much just to sustain, whether you small or large. That's not what I'm talking about. But our meals are a substantial part of our lives. If you're thinking, let's just say, 3 square meals and the 2 snacks or whatever it is, like that's a lot of eating, throughout the day, no matter what it is. So this is not about you eating or overeating, but I'm just talking about the amount of times that we will eat. Think about that. If you can manage that, that's something that can be managed over the colder months, so that you can be, better prepared, that when it gets a little warmer outside, you've already tapped into that part that's really challenging for a lot of people. Because just getting up moving, yeah, you can do that. You can do that part, but does that really last as long as the amount that we eat? And I'm hoping that makes sense. So if you're going for an hour, you're going for a half an hour, you decided that's what your workout is going to be. But think about how much you eat. You eat in the morning, you got your midday, you got the afternoon, you got the evening. That lasts much longer than your 30-minute or hour workout. So if you think about how can we manage what we're eating and just do some experimentation around the foods that we eat. There are some things that, we eat, and sometimes it is for the comfort. It is for the taste. It is for the emotional connection that we have with the food. Sometimes, I got a friend, let me tell you this, what she told me, this was some years ago. She said she loved ice cream so much because it's orgasmic. So I'm like, what kind of ice cream you eating? Because I don't want that. Think about that. If the ice cream doing that to you, you know how much you're going to be trying to find that ice cream? What is the brand? Let me run. Just think about that. She said she loves ice cream. Baby, I don't want to be in love with nothing like that. I don't want to be, because you're going to be out there chasing. It's just like somebody when they get that first hit. Listen, they chasing it. They chasing it from that point on, until they decide, no, this is something that I don't need nothing that's going to try to establish no habits like that. Like, see, they be blocking me over here. I'm just going to say. The habits, the addictive habits that's being encouraged over here on this app. I can't say their name, but y'all know who I'm talking about. They probably see me. They see me and they hear me. That's why they be muting my comments. When I go on other people's lives, they be muting my comments. Because they know I be telling the truth. But I got to say, it's for entertainment purposes only. But yeah, so if you can get into that as a form of self-care, understanding that there are things you can do. So whatever your favorite meal is or your favorite item is, if you got that one thing where you like, I don't care, no matter what, I ain't giving up these chocolate chip cookies. See how you can make the chocolate chip cookies healthier. Like whatever it is. So it's not about you starving yourself or depriving yourself, but we can always think wiser about the things that we're eating. And each day we're alive, we're getting a little bit older. And our bodies process things differently the older that we get. So look at it that way. And the winter, because people be cooking and people be eating, those are times when you can, when people have, do people still do that? I don't know. Holiday, like cookie exchange things. I'm just saying, like, do people still, I don't know, do people still do potluck stuff? I'm just saying, if that's something that you do and you like gathering, you like meeting up with people, just see, if you got a group of, friends or a group of relatives and you say, okay, well, what can we do to create some healthier meals around our favorites? So whatever your favorite is, just get creative with it. Let's see, like, how can I make this meal, a little bit more healthier? And you may have to experiment with some different herbs, some different spices to, get it to, where it's, if not the same, maybe even better, than what you had before. But what we don't want to do is to start these habits or to get so ingrained in these habits that they go so far, and then we end up, having these chronic conditions that could have been preventable in the beginning, but then we are in a state where we may need, some medication or some form of therapies or some form of surgeries to help us, in order to just sustain the minimum. But if we can do it before we get to that state, I say, why not? I say, go for that. Because food is love. I'm just saying. And chefs are magic. They are magical to me. Chefs, you get this stuff, you get these individual vegetables, individual fruits, individual, grains, like, and then they just, voila. It comes, I just think chefs are magical. And people who have a love for food, you could taste it. You could taste it. The people who have a love for food and they know how to prepare the food, just right. That's what they get. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. Chef's kiss. But look at that. That could be one form of self-care. Oh, I will say this. The self-care suite is going on the road, y'all. We're going on the road. So last year, because I hadn't started really taking these two apps that serious, because I was on the other apps. I'm not over there anymore. So if y'all looking for me over there, sorry, I ain't over there no more. Not a move. But I'm going to take the self-care suite on the road. So last year, what I did on the other apps, we did healthy holiday eating hacks. So we did lives on that, and we talked about how to make those traditional dishes from the black families. Those traditional dishes, how can you make those dishes a little healthier? Like, or what sorts of things you can do to either incorporate your family or to make them for your family? Because you got some families, as long as it look like what it's supposed to be looking like. But let me say this. So I'm black. I'm from a black family. I'm just saying. So if you're from a black family, like a real black family, my family, one half is from Mississippi, other half from Alabama. I'm just saying, blackity black family. Don't be in there telling the people what you're bringing. If you're bringing something that's real healthy, do not tell them the ingredients. I'm just saying. You tell them the ingredients, then they ain't gonna want it. You're gonna have this big old pan of stuff that they're not gonna eat. So what you gotta do is just bring it. Just bring it. If it's looking like what they are used to eating and it's tasting like what they're used to, it's true. And if it's tasting like that, then they'll be okay. But when you start explaining, my sister did that one year. She bought some vegetables and some hummus. I was like, girl. And they was like, hummus? What is that? I got you. So the next year, I was like, don't tell them that. Tell them it's some dip. And so she made the garlic, she made the roasted red pepper, and she used to make her own, And like, this is just different kind of dips. Man, they tore that up. Like, because it was a year that had went past. Don't be coming there talking about some hummus. Some people ain't gonna eat that. But when she said it was dip, and they had different kind, they had the black bean, they had the garlic, they had the roasted red pepper, they tore it up. So that's what I'm just saying. So if you have to do something like that, then do something like that. So the self-care suite is going to go on the road. I want to start, November is good, but I may even start in October. Do people start eating a lot in October? October's kind of like a fun food month because it's just a transition. All the pumpkin heads come out. Pumpkin this, pumpkin that. The pumpkin heads be out in October. Is October a big eating month? Y'all let me know. I don't know. I think it's a fun month because it's when the food starts to change to more of the heartier ones. But do people eat a lot in October? So you got your apples, your apple cider, you got your pumpkin pie. But do people eat a lot? I don't know. But we know November, December, them the eating months. That's eating season. So at least November and December. The self-care suite, a lot of junk food. Okay, yeah, the candies and stuff. Okay, so yeah, maybe not October. Oh, ooh, what if we go to a apple farm or something? I don't know. Maybe we'll do a field trip. Maybe we'll do field trips in October. But yeah, at least November and December. So what? This is the plan. So I'm putting it out there, so I'm gonna have to stick to it. I mean, I'll stick to it about, once I put it out there anyway. But going to different restaurants. So we're gonna go to different restaurants that serve healthier food options. And we're gonna go live from the restaurants and let you see the food. Now, I'm just not comfortable eating on, so let's go to an apple orchard. Yeah, so we'll do that in October. Okay, so October we can do some apple orchards. And what else can we pick? Can we do sweet potato? I don't know. They have a sweet potato orchard. Girl, I don't know. I know apples though. We can go do apples. But we're gonna go on the road. This I was about to say, I'm not comfortable, like, how people just be eating on live. I'm not comfortable with that. But I'll show you the food and we'll do the taste test, especially if it's something new or if it's a new restaurant. I'll do that. I'll at least do that much. But we're gonna go on the road. It's gonna be exciting. So the restaurants now, not all of them will be in the Chicagoland area, because some of them may be out of town. Because if I go out of town and it's a Sunday, I'm just gonna go live from wherever I am. But that's the goal. We're gonna be on a mission to find the healthier food options so that we can give you a strategy. So that's going to be a self-care strategy that if you happen to end up in a group, right? You end up in a group and you like, I can't eat nothing in this restaurant. We're going to help you out. We're going to help you out. We're going to help you out. Like, what can you go and how can you make the healthiest choices? And then how can you have some strategies to resist the temptation? Now, we giving you these tools and you just go in there and do it anyway you want to do that. Oh, that's somebody's alarm. I thought there was somebody blowing the horn. But if you just go in there, you want to do it because you just making up an excuse, then that's different. So you love that. I think that's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun. So we're going to go, to the restaurants, with the healthier options. And even if it's just a restaurant that you would not even think to go to, you may be the one to just make the plans. Sometimes that's how you can do it. If you're the one in the group that has those challenges, or if you're trying to stick to the plan, right? So like, I done did all my meal prepping and it's the weekend and they're going to try to take me over to this restaurant. I'm going to mess up everything. No, you're not. So that's what we did last year. We just did healthy holiday eating hacks, but we want to take it on the road because not everybody is at home cooking and everybody's at home eating sometimes. And when you are on the job sites, when you're at these different places, different events, you got different holiday parties, and you have to get out there and try and figure out like, oh my God, or do I sit there and just not eat anything? Now, personally, I don't have a problem with it. And anybody who knows me, I'll be eating when I go to places anyway. So, but some people feel uncomfortable. When people's like, you're not eating anything at all. People have learned with me though. They learned with me. Because if I start talking about what's on them plates, so beautiful one, you had some delicious plant-based food at your school's back to school bag. Oh, okay. They brought some plant-based options into the school. I like that. So yeah, so we want you to feel comfortable, and especially if it's something new. If this is a new journey, with your food that you're trying, we want to give you some, some little, culinary nuggets, for you to be able to take with you so that you can still mingle, you can still mix, you can still socialize, and you can, stay with whatever healthy eating plan that you have adapted to or that you have brought into your life, in the winter season. So remember, that's just saying, if we're going to go with the challenging that January 1st, that winter is the colder months is where you're going to be doing your prepping. So this is where you get a chance to do your research and development in the kitchen to see what works for you, see what doesn't work for you, if your meals have changed, because not a lot of people, will be making salads in the winter. Some people do, but you have to think about, depending on where you are geographically, the freshest produce, the freshest plants. If you're doing salads, if it's not in season, you got to think about the transportation time that it had to take to get to you, the preservatives that had to be put in it in order for it to look the way that you wanted it to look in a colder month. Is it really worth it? And are you really getting the healthiest when you could have just had a baked potato? I'm just saying, because there's nothing wrong with that. It's the stuff that we add to those things. So just think about it. So you don't have to just stick with salads year round. Your body is not designed for that. Your body is, designed for some form of variety, but you just want to do the healthiest, even when you decide that you're going to get into the variety of things. But I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. Oh, about the calendar. This is what I was going to tell you about the calendar. Look at the Ethiopian calendar. Because this 12-month calendar, yeah, it wasn't the original one. So I'm just saying, look at the Ethiopian calendar. And when you think about the number of things that happen in 28 days, you're talking about moon cycles, you're talking about a woman's cycle. If you're talking about, trimesters, with pregnancy, like all those sorts of things, those 28 days are magic. So if you multiply 28 by 13, you get 364, and then that one day was supposed to have been like a real rest day. But look at the Ethiopian calendar and just start looking into Ethiopia, look into their traditions and the different things they're doing, because Ethiopia got it right. I'm just saying, Ethiopia is on the right track, and all the rest of us over here scrambling. The calendar, I don't know if you're into the zodiac, astrology and all that kind of stuff. You don't have to be so deep into it, but if you just understand the basics of it, the way that it's, the way that it's designed, there's a reason for it. The way that the earth rotates, on its axis, and how you change a year, an actual calendar year. Because you got to think about it. How do you have some things that keep jumping around on the calendar? I don't understand that. I'm just saying. As a kid, I didn't care, because, if it was a day off of school or whatever, but like, how some things keep jumping around on the calendar? So you're doing too much. You're doing too much, But the months should be even. They should be, from the original calendar, but we have traditions, or we have things that have come into play and have gone against the grain, like in the beginning, we were talking MacMan, we were talking about just different things of how nature takes care of itself. We got some brilliant, air quotes, some brilliant minds that came in and thought their idea was better, and they decided that this is what we're going to force. We're going to force this over here. And so we've probably been scrambling for a long time, trying to figure out, the natural rhythm of things. And when you start to get to a state of awakening, or a state of, just a new consciousness, or just a new awareness of the way your body works, the way human bodies work, the way the earth works, you are more cognizant, you're more conscious, you're more aware of things that work for you. You're not so caught up with, let me just do what everybody else is doing. But for now, this is what we know. This is how we were raised. These are the traditions, or these were the customs, or these are the rules that we were raised under. So this is what we're doing. But we can always do a little bit better. No matter what, we can always do a little bit better. You want to go for that 1% a day. 1% a day, even 1% a day. Can I be 1% better? And if there's a day that you didn't become 1% better, or 1% closer to where you're trying to get in terms of that whole optimal wellness, because it's more than just your physical health. We're talking about, your psychological, your emotional. We're talking about your spiritual. All those things that we want to help to become the healthiest that we can get, the most aware that we can get in these human bodies, in this form, that we have, because we down here. We on earth, it's ghetto. We just got to do the best that we can to make it. That's it. We got to do the best that we can to make it. Thank you so much for liking the live. Thank you so much for my tubers. I'm going to sign out. If we don't have anything else, I'm going to sign out. But I enjoyed this conversation today. I really enjoyed this conversation today. Thank you so much for all of your interactions. Thank you for getting your heart me's. Thank you for the shares. Thank you for the comments. Thank you so much. And again, if you are new here, or if I did not introduce myself within the time that you've been here, I am Coach Robin Renee, your hostess in the Self-Care Suite. And this is where we meet on Sundays, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's where we kick off our shoes, relax our feet, and discuss the many ways to wellness. We exchange, so it's not just a one-way street. We exchange useful, sustainable, low-cost or no-cost self-care strategies, because financial challenges should not stop us from investing in our wellness account every single day. There should be something that we're able to do to take care of ourselves every single day. Thank you so much, Vanessa. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful evening. You have a fantastic week ahead as well. Thank you so much, UK. So we had the UK and we had China and India over here on the tube. And I thank you all so much. And yeah, I'm gonna see y'all next Sunday. I don't know what's the date. The 24th. Yeah, I'll still be in the Midwest. But I think is it the week after, child? I don't know. I be places. I be outside. Oh, let me say this. When I say I'm outside, I mean like this. Not the other outside. I mean like this. I be outside like in nature. On that note, y'all, peace. Take it light. Take it light. We are ending this. Yep, we're ending this one. And we're gone. Are we out? It ain't letting me out. I'm logged up.